We all had a musician, actor, book, song, whatever, back in the day that we all really got behind, but it's just like looking through your past high school yearbooks now, you realize you were out of your mind. But it's totally different when an entire generation realizes that something never should have been a big deal. It's time for us to regret the past when we let Kid Rock become a household name. Several months back, I spoke about drunk mom rock, the kind of mindless gutter trash and rock that moms listen to when the kids are away. They just sit around at a cheap bar and pretend they can dance to bands like Buckcherry and Hinder. Well, in the world of drunk mom rock, there is a king, one absolute ruler of all the trashy redneck bars across the US. He sits upon his throne of empty beer cans, drug needles, and prostitute underwear, and screams his own name just so you know how cool he is. If you're like me, you're already starting to laugh a little bit. Back in 1998 came a wannabe Detroit cowboy pimp. Can't believe I had to say that sentence. That for some reason got the blessing of MTV and quickly became a household name. His album, Devil Without a Cause, coming with 6 radio singles, was one of the best-selling albums in the past 20 years. Even though songs on this album were constantly rejected by his label Atlantic at the time, Kid Rock stuck to his guns and put out the music he wanted to give. So by sticking to his guns, he released a country rap nu metal hybrid album that became a bestseller everywhere and is now currently hiding in the basements of America in a box of shame, along with a pair of MC Hammer pants, Pog collection, and chain wallets. Kid Rock, through all his controversy, is a household name. He's a 140-pound man pretending to be a threatening image, and that just made him all the more popular somehow. This album, Devil Without a Cause, is his claim to fame. Shameful, disgusting fame. After this album, Kid Rock still continues to sell well and fill out arenas and even headline festivals, mainly because he is now a figure and not so much a musician. But he still stays in current pop culture, even this year with the announcement of his pro-Donald Trump merchandise he will be selling on tour. Before we get started with listening to Kid Rock, let's take a look at some of these pro-Donald Trump t-shirts that he's going to be selling on tour this year in 2017. God, guns, and Trump. Alright, I mean, come on, this is pretty much the anthem of the South, so I guess it kind of makes sense you would put this on a t-shirt. Okay, United States of America and... oh, come on! Is that even your joke? Isn't that from a movie? Alright, what's the last one? Arnold Trump. The D is missing because it's in oh my gosh. Kid Rock is awful. I mean, this whole video is just my opinion. He is just, as a person, a musician, an actor, he's a phony. He has no talent. And his album is one of the best-selling albums in US history, and easily in the top 100 in album sales for artists because of the late 90s and early 2000s. This album, Devil Without a Cause, is such a known joke now, it's hard to think about it without laughing a little. So, how successful was Devil Without a Cause? I want you to remember this moment forever. I want this image burned into your retinas like a bad plasma screen TV. Don't ever forget that Kid Rock's Devil Without a Cause was just as successful as Nirvana's Nevermind in the United States. One was certified 11 times platinum, Devil Without a Cause, and the other 10 times platinum, being Nevermind. Now SoundScan says there was just a few more thousand sold for Nevermind over Kid Rock's Devil Without a Cause, but since one was certified platinum over the other one more time, it's kinda hard to debate. But there's one common alignment in that. They were both equally successful. There are as many people in the United States right now with Devil Without a Cause in their home as there are Nirvana's Nevermind. Unless those people all bury them in the backyard hoping their loved ones never find out. I don't really need to go into more details about Kid Rock as a person. That's not what this video is about. This album is his only real claim to fame outside of marrying Pamela Anderson. And even she got sick of that after a while. I mean, come on, can you blame her? With the blessing of Carson Daly, MTV, radio, and many other people high up in media that should be ashamed of themselves by now, Kid Rock will probably never be forgotten because of the success of this album. So let's go track by track and see why Devil Without a Cause is worth regretting. And also, Kid Rock is an artist. And just as a person in general. Okay, I know we're starting on a weird note right now, but why is he introducing himself on his third album? That makes no sense. He's been around for a while, right? And even though this is a song that made him famous, this wasn't even the first single. Why would he introduce himself and call himself out like this on his third album? Sorry, I'm using logic on a Kid Rock album. Bawitdaba is the definition of Kid Rock. When all is said and done many years from now, this is what he will be remembered for. Not the drugs and ex-wives and trashy fan base and countless cameos in pop culture, but this song is his greatest description. Kind of weird to think about how a man's greatest work ever and the song people know him for sings about prostitutes, meth, and cooking grits. No wonder rednecks like him so much. I can make fun all I want, but no one can argue the success of this song. Even in the 4-minute, 20-second runtime, with the first minute being just that intro and the chorus being repeated like it's on a loop, it still made Kid Rock a superstar. Outside of charting on several Billboard charts and receiving a Grammy nomination in 2000 for Best Hard Rock Performance. Go screw yourself, Grammys. Sorry, I shouldn't talk like that. Outside of all that, this was the song with the cool music video that got Kid Rock noticed on MTV. He was played on heavy rotation on MTV at a time where if you weren't in a boy band, Latin pop star, or a rerun of Real World, MTV didn't bother. Why? Because many of the Viacom and music industry heads saw dollar signs in his unique look and appeal, one of which being Carson Daly, who helped bring out other great artists like Limp Bizkit and Hanson. Go screw yourself, Carson Daly, sorry. I'm sure he's a nice guy. I shouldn't talk like that. This song was everywhere. Every rock and many pop stations were playing it as if they were held at gunpoint, and if they didn't play it every hour, they'd be shot in the back. Let's be honest, it's not that the sound and delivery of the song is terrible. The chorus might be baby gibberish, but it flows well. The problem with it is that it's just one long hook. That's it. The guitar riffs carry the song on a generic rhythm that leads to the chorus, rinse, repeat. Then we get to the actual lyrics. Not the Bawitdaba part, but the verses. These song lyrics are literally just one long list of shoutouts to ambiguous groups of people and objects that Kid Rock made up for a rhyming scheme. There is nothing else. It's about as thought-provoking as a nursery rhyme. A dirty trailer park nursery rhyme. Topless dancers. Heroes at methadone clinics. Just groups of people. Then the tribute goes to Southern Comfort, cars packed with speakers, the Northern Lights, because he likes Canada apparently, shots of Jack, caps of meth, Mustangs, and then grits and eggs for breakfast. It's like a messed up game of Mad Libs that he made a song out of. Think about it. Okay. Who is this song dedicated to? Group of people. Heroin addicts! Okay. What is this song about? Item. Caps of meth! Okay. Where is it at? Natural event. The Northern Lights! While high on meth! Backed by Uncle Kracker. Yeah, I can't believe that's his name either. Uncle Kracker was behind the turntable, and together they have taken lyric segments, guitar riffs, piano notes, movie score effects, bass lines, organ and saxophone segments. Literally, nothing was off limits. In this song alone, he samples Marcel, Busy Bee, and Sugar Hill Gang to flesh out his 4-minute and 20 seconds worth of music, with the first minute being dedicated to him shouting his own name and introducing himself. He couldn't even think of enough things to sing about and have enough music behind him to flesh out roughly over 3 minutes worth of a track. That is awful. And also, the whole chorus is chanted like a voodoo curse repeatedly. So that doesn't even count as creativity because it's just repetition over and over again. It's one long hook. That's why I think Kid Rock is a phony. He is not covering songs or paying tribute in his own work. He's flat out using other people's work and claiming it as his own creation. He's pretending to be a vocalist with a band and DJ behind him when the DJ could probably do all the work without him. Does the song sound awful? No, guitar hooks work and it's identifiable and memorable for the chorus, even if Kid Rock has the vocal range of someone with a nasal infection, but it still isn't the worst sounding. But it's not good, it's lazy. It's not even all his own work. I mean, come on, does this song really warrant this statistic? Yeah, you thought I was done with that. No, I want you to remember this. Rock and roll, everyone. This was the second song I had ever heard from Kid Rock, and it makes sense as it was all over the radio after Bawitdaba. It's interesting because where Bawitdaba was a lyrical lazy mess filled with gibberish, Cowboy is a long-winded raunchy description of Kid Rock wanting to be a pimp. Wow, in 2 songs, Kid Rock has been described perfectly as the human being he is. A Detroit cowboy wanting to become a pimp in California who gives thanks to meth. I don't even know what to say at that point. That's Kid Rock! Oh, there's more sampling from names like The Doors and Allman Brothers, and even taking the whistle from The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, but I'm not going to go into every sample on every song because otherwise I'd have no voice and this video would be an hour long. Cowboy was another single that charted well, got its music video played on MTV, and was all over the radio along with commercial tie-ins, but what's odd about that is the song Cowboy is dirty. People used to let their kids listen to some of this. He's singing like he's the crazy neighbor that lives down the street, shouting at anyone that goes by, except it's all profanity and sexually explicit stuff. He's that creep that just lives down the street that no one likes to go around. Think about Grandpa Simpson in that meme, Old Man Yells at Cloud, but it's just all foul-mouthed garbage. That's Kid Rock. He's Grandpa Simpson if Grandpa Simpson was this perverted foul mouth. On the music side, it's just twang and standard guitar chords that barely ever change the speed. If you were to listen to the instrumental version of this track, you'd be bored. It offers nothing. I kind of feel like Kid Rock is the type of guy that takes pride in doing whatever he wants, but on the negative side of that, he's lazy, and he just wants to be known as doing whatever he wants, and not an actual talented musician. It's not so much him proving that he'll do the things he says he will, but just getting credit and attention for saying those things and describing himself that way. Addressing himself as a Detroit cowboy pimp kinda illustrates that perfectly. Okay, if I have to give credit for this title track, I can at least say he wrote a lot of material and lines for this track. I mean, it's the same type of thing we've already heard. He's tough, he's willing to shoot someone, and he'll have sex with any woman he sees, but he put more time into this one? I say that because if you look at the long lyric readout for this song, there's actually a ton of writing. The music is quite literally Sample City though, with the same swanky guitar loop like it's a cheesy Leisure Suit Larry game, and you can pull out segments from bands like U2 and others in the sampling. It's just the same guitar riff to help build into the chorus of how he's going platinum. What really sucks is that Kid Rock really did call his shot, like a white trash Babe Ruth. Just take out the athleticism and charm and history, but add the same amount of alcohol. Then we get to Joe C's part. There's no nice way to say this. When you listen to this and not see any video, it's hard not to feel uncomfortable, especially with what he's singing about in his voice. When you don't see him sing, it just sounds like a child singing lyrics like this.
Call me Joe C, got more game than Calico. I'm a freako, call me sick. 3'9" with a 10-foot dick. I'm a crazy him through eyes.
I got nothing. I have nothing. What am I supposed to say to that? It sounds like a little kid singing all that stuff. That's awful. I know it's not a little kid, but how could you not think that when you only hear it? You know how back in the day, you would invite your friends and loved ones over to hear new music you liked? That doesn't really happen anymore. But can you imagine bringing a loved one over just to play a song like this?
I love it when you make dinner for me, baby.
You're welcome. Dinner is in the oven. It'll be just a minute. While we're waiting, you want to hear an awesome song I heard today?
Sure.
Okay. What? Oh! What is that for? What are you doing? Come on!
As a title track though, it really does define this album. Kid Rock is going to sell millions singing about how tough he is and how much sex he's gonna have while his friends all support him, all backed by the most generic band ever and an entire hard drive worth of samples to make Kid Rock sound better than he is. And let's be honest, he doesn't sound like anything. Take away the vulgarity and think about Kid Rock's voice and that high-pitched but still really flat delivery. No one would buy into Kid Rock, no one would care. It would just be panned. But since he has that vulgarity and Detroit appeal, he was a star. That and Carson Daly. Well, I mean, the only thing that's going through my mind right now is how much Kid Rock really loves drugs and alcohol. I mean, really loves them. I'm talking he's putting Tyrone Biggums to shame. Music-wise, this song sounds much more fluid and has a stronger rock vibe that doesn't make me want to flip a trailer over at a drunken brawl. But when you hear some of these lyrics, it really becomes clear just how much Kid Rock loves to junk up his brain. This song was actually recycled from one of Kid Rock's earlier EPs years prior, and there actually are a few sequences in I Am the Bull God that prove he can write coherently and actually make sense. But in the same song, there are examples of him just using the line, thinking about jumbo shrimp, just to have it rhyme with swinging low like a chimp. This song was another radio single that also charted on Billboard's mainstream rock tracks. Along with that, there were constant remixes of the song. It should be noted, however, that this track is the only one on Devil Without a Cause that doesn't source using any samples from other artists. I feel like I Am the Bull God is the one Kid Rock song I can listen to and actually not be grossed out, even with all the drug supports. Pro-drug use? I'm not sure how to label it, but this song feels at least original and it has a groove to it, and Kid Rock doesn't sound like a giant nose when singing. For the most part. Who am I kidding? Him and Wes Scantlin are the two giant noses of rock. Remember when I talked about I Am the Bull God and how they didn't use any samples, or at least they didn't source or claim to use any? Well, kiss that goodbye, because the rest of the album hides no shame in doing that repeatedly. Along with including sound bites of someone snorting something, I'll just assume it's dry allergy medicine and give the benefit of the doubt, the song Roving Gangster takes from Led Zeppelin and James Brown, among others. This song is just another Guns N' Drugs track. It praises how tough Kid Rock is, again. There is no difference. Starts off without he couldn't get any respect, and now he rides with guns and everyone wishes he was him. And he will also drink anything with even a trace of alcohol in it. There really isn't much to this song at all, and that's kind of the same feeling for most of the album. Devil Without a Cause is just that. There's no cause. It's just the same material. Kid Rock is tough because he snorts coke. Okay, what am I missing? Why does being a Detroit cowboy pimp make you tough? Especially one that speaks in baby gibberish. It doesn't make any sense.
Winston, drinking a 4-0. Kid Rock, and I'ma let you know. I've been sitting here just wasting time, drinking, smoking, thinking, trying to free my mind.
This is the country part of rap rock star Kid Rock. It's kind of like Garth Brooks, how he kind of blended the genres, you know, except Kid Rock doesn't have the singing range, and the guitar skill, and the likability, or the charm. But instead of all that, he has black tar heroin in his veins. This was the final single to come from the album as late as the year 2000. I don't get it. I truly don't understand why this remixed country rap stoner anthem hybrid would be used on the air. It is one of the most vapid, bland songs I've ever heard from a top-selling artist. The chorus with the female vocals actually could have smoothed it out, but even that doesn't add much. This is the typical background bar music in the Midwest just to add noise. That's it. The guitars don't add anything. Kid Rock's writing in the song is now on filler mode, or at least it feels like it when you realize he only writes about the same things over and over again. And he also samples music from Fleetwood Mac in this track. Why? Why would you do that? You can probably make your own material on your own if you just put more time into it. You don't have to sample everything you've ever heard. Lyrically, the first few lines say it all. Break it down. He addresses how he's a pimp. Then he acknowledges Fleetwood Mac. Then he goes into talking about smacking hoes. I mean, what the heck, people? Who kept buying this? What moron DJs were playing this on the radio? Now that I think about it, it must have sucked to be a rock radio DJ in the late 90s and early 2000s. I mean, really think about it. Having to play all that nu metal at the boom of the nu metal peak, and your boss just demanding you play Kid Rock and Limp Bizkit on a loop? Ugh. Talk about hating your job.
The kid rock, that is my name, and if you ask me again, I'll tell you the same. Who's to blame? I don't really know, but my game's so tight, I think I'm gonna go pro. So here we go.
Many people don't remember this song, but Welcome to the Party was the original single from Devil Without a Cause back in the summer of 1998. This song, however, failed to chart or find an audience, and for good reason. Just listen to it. There's no easy way to say this. This song, paired with the music video, is the widest thing I've ever seen and heard. By far. I mean, Weird Al's White Nerdy has nothing on Kid Rock at this point. Just listen to the first 4 bars and really think about that and watch the video with it.
My name's Kid Rock, I'm a Capricorn, and Detroit City's where I was born. When I was young, I knew I'd always be a super live body rockin' MC.
It's like a bunch of dads got together on a weekend at a pool party with a handy cam and wanted to make their own cool music video to remember themselves by and just having a good time. But this song was meant to be taken seriously. 11 million albums in the US! Why? He samples Grandmaster Flash in the track along with others. I feel like Grandmaster Flash should have been furious about this, but I don't know. Whatever, my brain hurts, and I'm embarrassed that I had to listen to that. The repeated piano notes do nothing. It gets worse as it goes on, and if you want to watch the music video, then may God have mercy on your soul. Also, in the song, he says he's not a ripoff. However, he samples and uses other people's work all the time to claim that he's making something original.
When I set my sights, I shoot for stars. I don't like small cars or real big women, but somehow I always find myself in them. I'm a hit.
Why do people listen to Kid Rock? Why do they still listen to him?
I can't reward ya, but if you want a long one, baby, I got one for you. This is your shot. I got one for you.
The bad vocal effects and funky B-rate dirty movie rhythm is terrible. This song, I Got One For Ya, is awful. From beginning to end, this song is a dumpster fire, and the dumpster hasn't been emptied out in weeks, so it's overfilling with fire and leftover food behind a sketchy Denny's. The mixing is awful, and the backtrack guitar is brought way too loud so that Kid Rock's vocals don't come out on top. Pair that with Kid Rock's octave dropping down, and it makes it worse somehow. This time, he's a congested giant nose. The track is under 4 minutes, and it feels like an hour. He sings about record companies only wanting one song to sell an album and selling out. Normally, I'm against that as well, but Kid Rock isn't really writing his own stuff anyway, unless Kid Rock is better. I mean, at least that's how I see it.
Gonna rock and gonna roll and gonna rock and go round.
Any album, ever, has potential to be certified diamond and sell that many copies now. This album's proof.
I never had a lot of money, never made much sense. Been chasing bunnies like a donkey, overlooking my rent. Spent every red cent, putting hickeys on his bed. He's rocking Mickey sipping, Mickey slipping, honey's out there, steady, looking for love.
Somebody's gotta feel this feels like a Kid Rock attempt at Rage Against the Machine. Except it's the same guitar riff repeatedly, and that would never fly in Rage. They had to have been drunk in the studio while recording this, and it somehow made the cut. Don't get me wrong, Kid Rock sounds like he's giving more intensity on this track. Actually feels like he's putting his weight into it. But this is filler in its purest form. This is more mindless rock and recorded scratches and generic riffs. It's a shame because Kid Rock is oddly energetic here, but it doesn't help the track at the end. Then around 2 minutes 25 seconds we get a decent guitar solo. Yeah, in a Kid Rock album. Weird, eh? Then you find out this was directly lifted from MC5's Kick Out the Jams. Then you realize that the guitar riff is listed from Led Zeppelin. Two of the most notable parts of the track come from two completely different songs. I ask this in sincerity, and I know I'm breezing through these tracks now because my brain is starting to shut down. But at what point are we still able to call Kid Rock a musician? It's not him playing the instruments, most of his music is sampled from other established acts, and his writing is nothing but tough guy bro anthems about nothing. And I still have a third of the album to go. Ugh. Kid Rock fans, if you are watching this for some reason, what draws you to him? Why do you enjoy listening to him? Because you know, Devil Without a Cause is his greatest work, right? You know, this is him at his peak, and he will never be better than this. Oh my gosh, Kid Rock never being better than this kind of makes me feel sad for some reason. This track definitely has Kid Rock in a better delivery. When he's not stoned or drunk or singing about having sex with prostitute, he really gets upset when people talk about him always being stoned and drunk and having sex with prostitutes. This song could have worked if the backtrack behind him wasn't completely flat, even with a Led Zeppelin bass line layered underneath bad guitars and a monotone drum line. When Kid Rock tries to give more delivery, the music behind him is uninspiring. When his, band tries to add a few hooks and play music, Kid Rock goes even more nasally and more nonchalant in vocals and lyrics. There is not one full song on this album that feels like it should have been a groundbreaking success. But millions of people bought into it. People still pay money to see Kid Rock today. Even in 2017, he's scheduled to headline some of the big rock festivals in the country. Why? People think he's a genius? And for some reason they think he's funny?
Kid Rock looks like he would smell like stale farts and cigarettes. More like fresh farts and cigars.
He is a millionaire. Think about that.
I take too many pills that helps to ease the pain. I made a couple dollar bills, but still I feel the same.
You know, it's hard for me to take you serious when you're feeling down about how successful you are, and then you go to drug and hooker parties. The man is complaining about being famous, but this song was written before he was famous. It's not genuine. If this song was written on a later album after he became a household name, then it would have some merit to it. But it was made after he admitted to multiple failures and not being a success. It's phony. Kid Rock is a phony. Kid Rock is auto-tuned so much that he puts Katy Perry to shame, and the song drags for over 5 minutes. I get this is supposed to be more down-to-earth, but that doesn't take away the fact that it's made as Kid Rock complaining about his life as a superstar when he wasn't a superstar yet. I mean, yeah, he did call his shot at how successful he would be, like a white trash Babe Ruth in the music scene, but that doesn't make him good. Makes him lucky. The guitar work is a generic strum-along, which isn't terrible, but it's still not anything special. They sampled the bass line from Pearl Jam's Yellow Ledbetter, and I still can't believe this got radio play. Is it because of the hook or chorus with Kid Rock whining only God knows why, over and over again? I know this is mean, but I can totally imagine thousands of drunk moms in bars crying over this song and how beautiful it is. God. Can you imagine the nautical tons of Jack Daniels it would take to consume just to think that this song is somehow deep and meaningful and gorgeous? Ugh. Fun fact, the first 4 lines of this song were written while Kid Rock was in jail after getting in a bar fight. Classy. Another fun fact, VH1 named this song one of the greatest power ballads of all time. VH1, it's difficult for me to dislike a music channel more than MTV, but you're making a case. Hey, Eminem's in this track. Someone talented, he can help out, right? Yeah, he doesn't sound like he's giving it his all. I mean, can you blame the guy? Look who he's working with. For the people who bought the clean version of the album back in the day, this track was, for obvious reasons, omitted. So only people who bought the explicit version got to hear Eminem take over a verse on a Kid Rock song. It's a shame for something that could have had a little more potential that really underperforms and does not deliver. Kid Rock sounds like he's giving it his all, but his writing is lousy and illogical. The guitar riffs behind him sound much stronger than just about anything else in the album, but that's partly because it's the riff taken from Black Sabbath's Iron Man. Kid Rock had to bring in Eminem on a song and sample Black Sabbath, and the song still doesn't deliver. That's like mathematically impossible. How do you durst up so many good elements and turn them all into something completely forgettable and not worthy of your time? Ugh. What a bunch of dursts. Yeah, I'm never letting that go. Kid Rock definitely qualifies as someone who dursts up his own material. It's getting to the point of children's writing logic, but with vulgar lyrics. It's quite literally the same material as before, with Kid Rock being the toughest man alive. There are some good guitar riffs and organ keys in the song, but it isn't enough to carry the whole track. I know I've said that type of thing several times at this point, but the point keeps being reinforced almost after every song. The chorus of the song is the type of fuel that elderly people complain about how music was better back in their day, but when they compare this track to the Beatles, it's hard to argue. Where You At Rock feels like the closest to pandering to the nu metal crowd in style and form, but it even fails at that.
If you can call 11 million album sales for Devil Without a Cause a failure, ugh.
I think a song like this, where Kid Rock is just giving another ego stroke to generic rock chords, is what hooked people the same way Bawitdaba did. It's vapid and simple and means really nothing, but it's from someone that pretends to be a big deal. And through that, people bought into him becoming a big deal. Does anyone really think Kid Rock is a legitimate physical threat or a genius? No. Did he really junk up a system and sleep with as many prostitutes as he claimed? No.
Or at least I hope not.
But people buy in because of that fake posing. The Drunk Mom Club love a guy who can't stop talking about how successful he is as a Detroit cowboy pimp that deals meth. It's unique, and if the radio won't stop playing it, then eventually you buy in to check it out.
Then you listen to Devil Without a Cause in entirety like I just did, and realize you overpaid by a lot. I really hope the last track has something to make up for this. You know, everything I just heard.
Bitches don't mean shit to me anymore.
No, I'm not playing clips of this song. This is the worst one yet. It's disgusting and awful. Kid Rock is terrible.
It's Kid Rock's trailer park folktale about 9th graders having sex and raising kids. Because that's what everyone wants to hear about. From what I understand, this is a mostly true story about Kid Rock. Yeah, I get he's singing about himself, but it's still in a creepy, perverted way. It also doesn't help that Kid Rock cannot have a structure in his writing at all. It's kind of disturbing hearing a grown man give a country rap about 9th graders' genitalia. And that's what's in this song. He tells a story about two kids, himself and a girl, who drink and do drugs and then have sex all at the same time, and then she gets pregnant.
His delivery sucks, his writing is laughable, the band behind him is one of the most generic groups I've ever heard, he can't go 4 minutes without sampling someone else's work, and people by the millions got suckered into buying this.
What else do you want me to say? You know it's not good, and everyone looks at Kid Rock now as that embarrassing period of time that you regret the music you listen to. Only the extremely drunk moms and miserable dads go to Kid Rock concerts now to try to relive the glory days of drinking Miller Lite out of a shot glass because they think it's funny. But there are a lot of parents like that, apparently. And that's the perfect description of Devil Without a Cause. It's a glass of watered-down Miller Lite with tobacco spit residue at the bottom. It's terrible, but when you see it, you just laugh and think about how the heck it got there in the first place.
My brain hurts. I need to go do something creative, because Lord knows I've lost a couple IQ points listening to Devil Without a Cause. But, regarding Kid Rock, take away all the vulgar Donald Trump supporting merchandise, all the pro-drug use anthems, and all the sexually explicit material including underage girls, I think we've all learned in 2017 that we shouldn't listen to Kid Rock. I'll never stop saying that. Don't listen to Kid Rock.
Do not listen to Kid Rock.
Don't listen to Kid Rock.
Don't listen to Kid Rock!
Don't listen to Kid Rock. He's a terrible person.
Don't listen to Kid Rock! Listen to Nickelback! Wait.
And I quote from Cool Daddy Cool by Kid Rock. Young ladies, I like them underage, see? Some say it's statutory, but I say it's mandatory. Yeah, you don't need to listen to Kid Rock.
Don't listen to Kid Rock!
Don't listen to Kid Rock.
Hey guys, thank you for watching. Please subscribe if you want to see more of these videos done and keep up to date on upcoming albums. If you want to help support Rocked, check out my Patreon. You can follow Rocked on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Click on the YouTube cards to see some of my previous videos. And for the love of God, don't listen to Kid Rock.